Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Regence Norwoods. I'm a Senior Certification Officer here at the Department of Procurement Services. So I'm one of the 7 officers that will review applications and make recommendations on certification applications. I'm also a licensed CPA with 20 years of accounting and auditing experience. So I think this is a small enough group to kind of go around and just introduce yourself and just tell me a little bit about your business and if you've started the certification application. So I have an idea. Would you mind starting?
My name is Alan Hawkins. I want to be certified as a minority consultant firm.
Okay.
I have had over 20 plus years of IBM. I deal with a lot of complex deals. I'm looking forward to working for the city of Chicago.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is definitely the place to start. So do you mind?
Yeah, my name's Kane. Been in the restaurant business for about 20 years now. Just want to better understand how this program is about and if there's an opportunity to take advantage of what you're presenting to us.
Okay. Yeah, you will definitely be able to use this certification.
Hi, my name.
It won't. Is it on? Is the microphone on? Yes, it is on. You're not going to hear it very loudly, though.
Hi, my name is Ohi. I have a healthcare business. I'm just trying to figure out how to become certified with Chicago and get more contracts with the city.
Okay, so 3 are not certified. Okay, or haven't started. Okay.
My name is Boise Walker. I've not started the process. Checking out this process, I went to another organization last week. I do interior design and procurement for furniture.
Oh, okay. Great.
Hi, my name is Phyllis. I've been a builder for 20 years, and my girlfriend and I are looking to start a new business together. This is our first time here and just starting new.
A construction business?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I was in construction, not necessarily staying in that.
Okay.
I'm Denise Gambardella. I'm the friend. We have 20 over years of experience right now in procurement, hospitality management, but we do a lot of stuff overseas. And son's in college. We'd like to bring it back here, see what the city has to offer. There's a lot of building going on here. See if we could, find something to make it work locally.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Hi, I'm Connie Murray, a new business owner, and actually just been talking to some friends about the women-owned business program, and I wanted to see what it was about. So that's why I'm here.
Good. I'm glad we were able to reach out and get the word out that we do have these programs. So with that, let's get started. Well, this is the Department of Procurement Services Becoming Certified with the City of Chicago workshop. Who we are, the Department of Procurement Services is the contracting authority for the procurement of goods and services for almost all of the City of Chicago departments. We work together as a team and with our customers to guarantee an open, fair, and timely process by establishing, communicating, and enforcing superior business practices. DPS is committed to providing information, resources, and tools to assist you in your efforts to compete for City of Chicago contracting authorities. What we do specifically in certification is we accept and review new applications for certification. We do annual no change affidavit reviews. We do recertification application reviews every 5 years. So once if you do get certified, for the local program, you need to file a no change affidavit annually, but every 5 years you go through like a mini recertification, mini audit of your business. And in that time, you need to report any material changes. So you cannot wait until every 5 years to report like an ownership change that might be material to your certification. What else do? We do contract compliance. So for those contractual contracts, we're looking that the minority, the women, the veteran, the disadvantaged business entity participation goals are being met. So we're ensuring that whatever goal is specified in the contracts is being met by those primes. So if 25% needs to be minority owned and 25 is not, then they'll be penalized. We also set standards for contract participation for the programs, for the local and the federal programs, which is the DBE and the ACDBE. The two websites that you do need to take note of is the cityofchicago.org/procurement. That's our website. You'll find everything under the sun in there. The applications are automated, so they're going to be on this chicago.mwdbe.com website. So when you're ready, you'll set up your username and password, and you'll go to this web and you'll apply on this website. So there's a lot of acronyms for our 6 programs. MBE is the minority-owned business enterprise. WBE is the women-owned business enterprise. VBE is the veteran-owned business enterprise. BEPD is the businesses owned by people with disabilities. Those 4 are local programs. Those are what you need to compete for the City of Chicago grants, or funding, sorry. The DBE is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, and ACDBE is the Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. So those 2 are our federal programs, and the ACDBE is what you need if you plan to do business at the airports. Okay? So again, you'll submit your application online at this website. There's a $250 application fee for the MBE, WBE, VBE. There's no fee for the BEPD and the federal programs, the DBE, ACDBE. We do only accept certified checks, cashier's checks, or money orders. So once you apply and you submit your application, it goes through a very quick review to make sure you've provided what we need. You'll receive an invoice, and you need to pay that invoice in order for it to be assigned to a certification officer to review. And then there is instruction of how to pay. You can go to one of the payment centers and pay by credit card, but that's the only way. You can't pay over the phone. And you must bring your invoice that you receive with you, so they know what you're paying for, because you could have a water bill and they might apply it to your water bill. I've seen that. Okay, so VBE, this is one of our newest programs. This is the veteran-owned business enterprise. So veteran, by definition here, is a person who has served in the United States Armed Forces and was discharged or separated under honorable conditions. So in order to prove that you are a veteran and qualified for this program, you need to submit this DD 214 or 215. And if you don't have that, you would obtain that from the Veterans Administration. So this is the veteran-owned business enterprise definition is basically 51% owned by one or more veterans. So in the case of a publicly held corporation, at least 51% of the classes of stock has to be owned by veterans who manage and control the business. So that's key. And then you need to also be certified by the city, county, or the state, or the USD, or the VA that you're a veteran-owned small local business. So you can just read through that if this applies to you. If you're already MBE and WBE certified and you want to add VBE, there's no charge. You just need to submit an expansion request. This is all done online, and upload your DD 214 or 215. So what are the benefits of certification? Well, it provides you visibility. Once you're certified, you're listed in a directory where if a firm needs to reach those participation goals on their contract and that's one place they can look. So if they need an MBE for an electrician to do some work under their contract, they can go and search, and your firm would pop up. And there's also businesses in the private sector that, they don't necessarily need to reach those goals, but would like to give the opportunity to these types of firms. Yeah, so it provides you visibility being in this directory and being certified. Also, the City of Chicago has a target market program. So this provides exclusive bidding to the minority and women-owned businesses that are certified. And there's no subcontractor goals, so you can take 100% of that contract if you're able to, and take advantage of this target market program. So do you qualify? So these are the qualifying groups within the program. African American, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, women, veteran, and persons with disabilities. We do have, if you don't fall under this category, under any of these categories, but you could prove that you're socially and economically disadvantaged, you would present your case and it would go before an affirmative action board and review. So you would kind of tell your story on why you feel you're socially and economically disadvantaged, and then you'd be able to qualify. Are you a local business? So local business is your headquarters and the majority of your employees, and your management and interactions are taking place in one of the 6 counties, which is Cook County, DuPage, Kane, Lake, McHenry, or Will. So that's the definition. A lot of people have questions about this because everything's automated these days, but we'll look at that if it's specific on a case-by-case basis. That's for the local program. The DBE, ACDBE program, you could just be anywhere in Illinois. And if you're looking into the federal program, we have a separate workshop that goes into a lot more detail. This is really the local program workshop. But the guidelines are very similar, so. Is the firm 51% owned and controlled, managed by that minority, woman, veteran, or person with disability, or socially or economically disadvantaged individual? So again, similar to the veteran owned, the 51% needs to be owned by one of these. So this is a size. This is, your business must not exceed the gross receipts. So the gross receipts, not minus any of your expenses or anything, must not exceed $38.9 million over 3 years for non-construction firms. So we'll look at, that's why we ask for 3 years of taxes. We'll look at those gross receipts. And if you're making more than $38 million, 38.9 million, you do not qualify. Construction firms analysis is a little different. We look at 5 years of taxes, and it depends on the specific commodity code you're asking for, like whatever service, we would look at that. So if it's electrician, I think it's 15 million. So it's obviously less than 38 million. So if it exceeds 15 million over 5 years, then you would not qualify for that code. And it depends on the SBA size standards. For the DBE program, again, it's a federal program. That's 23.98 million, so it's less than the local program. So it's either the 23.98 million or, again, the SBA size standard. So again, if it's electrician, it's 15 million. So we would look at 15 million. It's the lesser of. ACDBE is 56.42 million, so that's a large number. Those are our vendors at the airport, so they generate a lot of revenue. So we give them that allowance. They have a lot more expenses too. So that's a good business for the restaurant over there to look into. Personal net worth standards. So this is the individual's personal net worth. So for the local program, your personal net worth cannot exceed 2.2 million, and that's evaluated annually. So that usually goes up every year. And the DBE, ACDBE program, that's 1.32 million, and again, it's adjusted periodically, not annually. I haven't seen it gone up in a while. And how you do that calculation is you have to complete a form, and it lists everything out, but basically it's your assets minus your liabilities. We take out your primary residence and your interest in the firm. So we don't account for that. I mean, you'll list it on your form, but you don't add it. You don't include it in the calculation. Okay? You can sit here. It's okay. You can sit here. Okay, so what do we need from you? We need to make sure, you need to make sure your contact information is correct. Number one thing is make sure that email address is correct and the phone number is correct and your address, because the first way we contact you is via email. That's how you'll receive all of our correspondence. But if you're not responding, we might call you. I call, not everyone calls. You might just get a letter saying, sorry, we couldn't reach you and your application has been closed or something like that. So make sure that contact information is correct. You need to identify what certifications you're applying for. So if you're a minority and a woman, apply for it at the same time. You'll check off M if you're a woman, a W, and then if you're a veteran or if you have a disability and so forth. You apply for the local program, and the local program and the federal program is separate. So if you want to apply for both, you're going to have to upload the same information on separate applications. The BEPD, which is the People with Disabilities program, requires the Schedule G form, and that once that's completed, I believe you need a signature. You need it authenticated by the mayor's office of People with Disabilities. The VBE, again, requires that DD 214 and 215 form. We also need owner information, employee information, facility information. So facility information could be a copy of your leases, if you're a distributor or a wholesaler, maybe a copy of your lease agreements for the warehouse. We're looking for financial information of the business, of the owners, licenses. If you're a CPA firm, you'll need to provide a copy of your CPA license, or if you're an electrician, you would have to provide, I believe, the City of Chicago. Yeah, the City of Chicago requires the licensing for that. We're looking for proof of eligibility documents. So if you're saying that you're a consultant, you need to provide all business owners, and I even recommend providing the resumes of your management team. That helps us identify that you're eligible for those commodity codes that you're requesting, or those services that you're requesting. We look for evidence of executed contracts, so make sure those contracts that you're saying that you've done are signed, because we need to see both parties. And then we ask for I ask for proof of payments from those services or invoices, and invoices. We need a driver's license, the birth and birth certificate. So this is, we need the driver's license, but the birth certificate, that's more for the federal program, because you need to be a U.S. citizen to qualify for the federal program. We don't have that requirement for the local program. The proof of equity contribution, so this is important. You need to provide proof of how you started your business. You know, even if it was just out of your personal savings, we're asking for proof of that, showing where it came from and where it went in. If you had, you know, the risk here for this program is if you had somebody else, you know, contributing that's not eligible for this program. So that's kind of why we're looking for that. You know, again, the business bank account, signatory card, we're making sure that the person who's saying they're the owner is the actual owner, and not anybody else has a signatory. Ability, organization chart, even if you don't have anything formal, I've seen people draw, you know, little circles and write in the organization chart. That's acceptable. Equipment listing, that's important. We want to make sure that you have the equipment to run the business that we're certifying, and loan information, who's signing off on those loans, who's responsible for those loans, what's that loan for. Okay, financial documents. So for the non-construction, we're asking for 3 years of federal tax returns for the firm and the individual, 5 years for construction firms. We ask for this 45060, that's a tax form. That's just signing off saying if the city of Chicago wanted to contact the IRS and confirm something that you're allowing that. The W-2s and 1099s, we look at that. So I've looked at this for your employees, just to verify certain things. So I might ask for it for all of your employees, or for you. Personal net worth statements, that's required for construction firms and all new DBE, ACDBE. So if you're a non-construction firm, you're not required to submit the P&W unless you're applying for a DBE, ACDBE. All ACDBE, DBE requires that. Okay. I'm going through this quickly. I hope I'm not going too fast. So these are the different types of business that qualify. A sole proprietor, typically owned by one person. There's no legal existence apart from themselves. What we ask for these type of businesses is the assumed name certificate if you're operating under a different name. And that's like with the Cook County, you would register your assumed name. General partnership, this is 2 or more people going into business together without any formalities. We'll ask for an executed partnership agreement there. A corporation, a corporation is treated as an entity completely separate from its shareholders. So it allows others to invest in the business without being liable for the debts of that business. So what do we ask for if you're a corporation? Well, we'll look to see if you're in good standing with the Secretary of State or whatever state, because the federal program, you could be in another state and have interstate certification here. Articles of incorporation, a certificate of incorporation, bylaws, stock certificates issued, and meeting minutes. If you're a limited partnership, this is more like stakeholders in a corporation. They're not liable for the debts beyond their contribution. And again, we'll look at the assumed name certificate or certificate of limited partnership with the Secretary of State. This is one of the most common ones, is the limited liability company partnerships that have a managing member or partner. We request that you provide the operating agreement there. Okay, so the next few slides, we're going to talk about suppliers, distributors, and brokers. I don't know if any of you are in that business, but they have their own set of guidelines. Is that Batman? So a supplier must be a regular dealer, which is a firm that owns, operates, or maintains a store, warehouse, or other establishment in which materials, supplies, articles, or equipment are bought, kept in stock, and regularly sold or leased to the public in the usual course of business. Yes? Can you hold on? So what we look at here is, you know, if you're saying you're a supplier, do you have supplies? Right? So we're going to do a site visit. We're going to make sure you have a space, you have inventory. If you have a storefront, and are you able to sell to the public? A distributor is a little different. Firms operating as a distributor are identified as having a direct relationship with the manufacturer to distribute its goods and products within a specified territory or region. The goods or products are not available or sold to the general public. So basically what we're looking at here is you might just be a distributor and you don't have a warehouse or aren't selling inventory out of somewhere, but you have this relationship, this distributor agreement with the manufacturer to sell their goods. That's acceptable as long as you have that agreement and you're just not, you know, calling Home Depot to order for, you know, somebody else. Brokers, so for the federal program, this does not apply. They are certifiable. For the local program, firms acting as a broker are not eligible for certification. They have to have, they really have to provide evidence that they're not brokering, and maybe they're a distributor, they have distributor agreements. So a person or entity that fills orders by purchasing or receiving supplies from a third-party supplier rather than out of its own existing inventory and provides no substantial service other than acting as a conduit between his or her supplier and his or her customer is a broker. Okay, so after the applications are submitted, after the application is submitted and you've paid your $250, and the certification officer has all of the information they need, it takes about 90 days from the day we receive all of the documents. So what does that mean? It could take a little longer. So if we get your information and we need more information, I suggest you get it back to us very timely. We usually give you 15 or 20 days. Get it to us as soon as possible, because 15, 20 days later, I kind of forgot what I really needed, so it's taking a little longer to complete. Your application is checked to make sure we have all the documentation. The documents are thoroughly audited. You may receive a site visit, like I stated earlier, the suppliers and the distributors. We do site visits. We do site visits for all of the construction codes. Trucking, we do site visits. So it depends. Not every application will require a site visit. All of the DBE, ACDBE certifications, the federal program, require a site visit, no matter if you're a consulting firm or a construction firm. So if approved for the local program, your certification is valid for 5 years. Like I said earlier, every 5 years you go through a recertification, which shouldn't be as long as the initial certification. Excuse me, I have to give you a microphone. Would you be able to wait till the end, and I can? Yeah, so we'll do a Q&A in the end because you need a microphone. We're being live streamed. Okay. So there is an expedited process. So it's not really faster. The application process is a little abbreviated. I think somebody mentioned earlier. I don't know if you were probably at the WVDC vendor fair, I'm guessing, because I was there. So if you're certified already with the CMSDC, the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council, or the Women and Business Development Center, we have an agreement with them where there is an abbreviated application that requires less information, but you still go through the application process. It's just a different application. Okay? So maintaining certification, again, all vendors must submit an annual no change affidavit, but you must notify us of any material changes in your organization, in your business name, ownership within 10 days of that change. So you can't wait till the annual. You shouldn't wait because that's, you might be penalized for that. All MBE, WBE, VBE, BEPD vendors must recertify every 5 years, as we said earlier. If you want to expand your services, so you're growing and you want to offer more services, you can submit your request on company letterhead and include the categories from the North American Industry Classification System Code, which is NAICS. You would include that along with any supporting documentation that you have that, again, experience, that you have the required licenses, that you have copies of those contracts or future contracts, present contracts. If you need additional insurance, provide that. And then again, more updated resume, hopefully including those services. And I'm sorry, and that can be done at any time. We like it if you can do it during your no change affidavit, but if you just did your no change affidavit and like 3 or 4 months later you want to expand, that's fine. So these are our sister agencies and their contact numbers. So these sister agencies, I'm not 100% sure, but like Cook County, we have reciprocity. So if you're certified with Cook County already, the city will accept your certification on their contracts. That's the only one we have reciprocity with. But alternatively, like CPS, they accept City of Chicago. We don't accept if you need a certification separate from ours. So what are the top 10 reasons applications are denied? So this is what you want to avoid during your application process. So if there's unsubstantiated or questionable ownership and control, if there's unclear description of critical functions and who is responsible, the company cannot substantiate where and or how startup funds, expansion capital was initiated, outside secondary employment takes place in the majority of the business's time, or the majority of the owner's time each day. The company is not located in one of the 6 county regions. So let me just be clear on the 4th bullet point. So you might be a startup and you still have a full-time job. You just need to prove that you can still manage and control your business outside of that full-time job. So that's important there. And again, we're just making sure that that minority, that woman, that veteran, that person with disability is the person who owns that business and controls that business. Okay? Again, additional reasons. The point of contact did not respond to timely. So again, you'll receive via email in the Q&A section requests for information almost all the time. So you need to respond timely. If you don't, we might close it out. If there's inconsistencies with the applicant firm name among various documents, you need to, it might be different. Maybe you started your company, changed the name a few months later. Just you need to explain that, or we'll ask about that. And problems with contracts, you know, they're not signed and executed by qualified owners. That's the one thing I always look for. Or they don't have corresponding proof of payments. Required documents are not attached, or no explanation is given as to why the documents are not available. So once in the application, you'll understand this a little bit better, but we have mandatory documents, which is everything that every firm basically needs to provide. And required documents might not apply, so there'll be an option to say not applicable. In the mandatory section, if you're a new business and you don't have 3 years of taxes, you need to put on like a letterhead explaining why you don't have those taxes and sign it, but you need to provide something because it won't let you go past that. Okay, so you just upload it. And you can upload that document for whatever request we have that, you know, your new business is an explanation for. Where to go for help? Here we are at the Department of Procurement Services. Room 806 is our office. We take, you know, walk-ins, but I mean, you can always call us. The number, this is our customer service number, 312-744-4900. If you click option 1, that'll take you directly to one of the 7 certification officers who can help you from 8, I think our hours are 8:30 to 4:30, but I'm there till 5 and somebody's there at 8. This next one does not apply. We don't have that consultant there anymore. But again, you can call us and we can help guide you. Or you can also go to your local, your area assist agency. They're always there to help. So with that, 40 minutes later, if you have any questions, I can try and answer them.
If you're a manufacturer or supplier, do your products need to be made in the United States?
We don't look at that,
Okay.
not for certification. I don't know what other, you know,
Okay.
contracts are.
And financially, you were looking for information. Are there minimal monetary requirements for proof of equity contribution?
What was-
Like if you're a startup company,
Yeah.
because you want to see all your W-9s and stuff. If you're a startup company wanting to do business with the city and you have no prior experience, do you have to have minimal amounts of money in the bank or?
No, we don't have that requirement. no.
Okay.
You just need to be able to do the
The work-
service.
okay.
That's what we look at, that you have that
Okay,
ability.
got it.
Anybody else? I think you had a question. Go ahead, I can walk around.
Okay, it's my understand. Hi, I'm
Hi.
Joy Stewart. It's my understanding that the fee for certification is $250.
Yes,
But the certification lasts for 5 years.
yes.
Is that the same for the renewal fee?
Every 5 years is a recertification, so you'll pay $250 right now. Right now it's $250. Annually, there's no charge. You just file a no change affidavit.
Okay, so it costs the same to renew as it does to get the initial
Correct.
certification. Okay,
The local program, that's for the local program. The federal program is free. And people with disabilities.
okay,
Okay?
thank you.
The applications, is it both online and offline?
We have our applications online.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think the federal program will require it if it's a paper application to accept it.
Okay.
But we encourage everyone to do it online. It's just more efficient.
Excellent.
Okay? One second. Sorry, we're live streaming, so they can't hear you.
Okay, what about the fees for your MBE, WBE, VBE, BEP?
What are they?
What are
the fees?
yeah, the fees for 250 for everything?
If you qualify, yeah, you can put.
But if we don't need those these many things, we just need a MBE or VBE.
Yeah, it's 250.
250
yes.
for everything.
This is the BEPD is free.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's cheaper than our consultant fees.
Hi. So I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
One of them being coming back to the sister agencies. I know you mentioned that Cook County has a reciprocity, but
We do have
how,
reciprocity with
if somebody is certified with the
State of Illinois.
CTA,
accept
CTA, you don't.
CTA is the federal program.
Uh-huh.
We do have the Illinois UCP.
Okay.
That's another workshop, but we do have reciprocity. They're part of this Illinois Unified Certification Program. So if you're already certified with METRA, CTA, PACE, Illinois Department of Transportation, and the city, well, it's all of the agencies accept each other's certification.
Okay. My second question would be about the reasons why an application can be denied.
Okay.
So it can be closed because of a lack of response on a timely fashion.
Yes.
So from that point on, what happens? Does the applicant need to resubmit? And also, if what happened when the applicant was disabled at the moment?
Okay, so when you start an application, you have 90 days to complete it. You should, before you start an application, I recommend you gather all of the information, have it ready, and you're just going to upload it. So we think 90 days is enough time. But then once you submit the application and we're sending you a request for information, we give you 15 days, and then we follow up another 15 days, and we usually give you at least 30 days, like a few attempts. I've given a little bit more, but that stretches out your application process. We may close it if you just stop responding, but if you call us, let us know, I'm having difficulty because I need this to get this. We're flexible. We're not, closing things out just for the sake of closing. We want to certify, qualified agencies. So as long as you work with us and communicate, it should be okay. Okay?
So there can be an extreme case where maybe somebody is disabled or we've been in the hospital and couldn't.
Yeah, so if in extreme case, we would ask you maybe to probably withdraw your application, because if we deny your application, you have to wait for another year before you have to apply, and you might want, to not wait a year, okay? I think that's probably...
If you're certified through the county,
Yes.
is there a process for registering that certification with the city?
No.
Or is it just a matter that you make a notation of it when you're doing the RFP? When you're responding to the RFP, you include?
So you're talking about applying for a contract?
Yeah, because you said that if you're certified through the county, then you'll accept that, right?
Our contracting unit would know more about that, but I know in our system, if we pull up a firm and they're certified with Cook County, they'll come up. But if they're certified with like the state, we don't see that. So our contracting department probably can answer your question more as to how do they verify your certification, but
Yeah, I didn't know if you needed to officially register it with
No.
the city or something like
So it's all
that.
in the same
It's-
database.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the case of like a company that has 5 owners, do you require information like the resumes and the driver's license of each owner?
So it depends, because the 51% needs to be minority or women.
They're all
right?
minority.
So they might not all qualify, all of the 5, but you have to show that the 51% or more is. So that's the information that you'll be providing. Does that answer your question?
So they're all minority.
So they're all minority. So yes, we would be looking at all of their information.
And in the case that they're seeking for minority certification in women, is it $250 for each?
No, it's just one charge for both certifications.
Okay.
Yep, it's a deal.
For the personal net worth standard, if it's a corporation, it says that, so the 1.3 million, is that for combined for all the partners of the corporation?
No, that's individually.
Okay.
Yeah, we would look at that individually.
Okay.
So if it's like a husband and wife, that's interesting. We just look at the one, but otherwise, we're looking at all of the owners' personal net worth. All right. Well, again, you know how to contact us, so please call us. And I'll be here for another 5-10 minutes if you have any other questions.
If you would take a moment and fill out the evaluation.
Okay.
If you think that there should be something that we should include or take out, or some other type of course, please feel free to put it on the evaluation. We're doing our 2019 courses now, and so we want to make sure that we have classes that you need and information that you can use. Thanks so much. The next class is how to do business with the city. So if you'd like to stay for that, feel free to do so.
The